Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's jump right into it. Have you ever had one of those days where, the to-do list is totally checked off, the kids are managed, nobody saw a breakdown, but inside, you feel completely, utterly depleted? Well, if that sounds familiar, this explainer is exactly for you, because today we are talking about why still functioning is absolutely not the same thing as being fine. I don't recognize myself lately. Okay, if you've whispered back to yourself recently, maybe in the mirror or late at night, I want to just stop and validate that right now. You are absolutely not alone in that. What happens so often is that our outward appearance puts up this amazing mask over our inward reality. From the outside, you look so put together, you look capable. But privately, you might be feeling a bit slower, maybe emotionally flatter, just further away from your true self. The version of you that used to feel so natural, now it feels like it takes a massive effort just to find her. So it's almost like you're living in two totally distinct worlds at the exact same time. On one hand, you've got this visible competence, right? The lists get done, the meetings happen, you keep the whole day moving forward. But on the other hand, privately, there's this self-distance. You feel slower, maybe you're literally losing your words in conversations, or your patience is just wearing incredibly thin. And here's the kicker, our own competence actually traps us. It is so easy to use the visible reality of your productivity to invalidate the invisible cognitive drag you are privately experiencing. You look fine, so you tell yourself you must be fine, but you're not. To really make sense of this crazy gap between what we do and how we feel, we're going to use something called the TAM framework. That stands for Trigger, Adaptation, Cost, and Mastery. Now, let's be super clear up front. This is strictly an explanatory framework. It is not a diagnosis. We are definitely not here to shame you, and we're not medicalizing your behavior. No way. Instead, we're using this to clarify the actual mechanics of your hidden strain. We want to normalize your experience. This is actually a highly intelligent psychological mechanism you're using, not some sort of personal defect. Let's map out this entire cycle from start to finish. It's like a chain reaction. Step one is the trigger, basically an accumulated load you're carrying. That load pushes you straight into step two, the adaptation, which is where you just put your head down and keep functioning. But predictably, that leads right to step three, the cost, resulting in that feeling of self-distance we just talked about. And finally, we reach step four, mastery. That's our goal, focusing on earlier recognition. Walking through this progression is a total game changer because it shows us exactly how one phase naturally, inevitably bleeds right into the next. All right, let's zoom in on step one, the invisible triggers. We usually think of a trigger as some massive, dramatic crisis, right? But it's usually not. The trigger is actually this mounting, accumulated pressure that operates totally behind the scenes. It's the ongoing cognitive drag. It's the hidden coordination and all that invisible labor you're constantly managing to keep the household running. It's the intense pressure from your work and family roles, mixed with broken sleep and really poor recovery. Put all that together, your system is already overloaded, even if your Tuesday looks perfectly normal to everyone else. Because these triggers are invisible, it leads us straight into a pretty dangerous mindset. Listen to this. I only take my own strain seriously when something public slips. Man, think about how destructive that really is. This specific mindset literally forces women to use their own visible competence against themselves to invalidate their own private distress. It delays self-belief. It basically means you have to wait for a dropped ball or some totally visible, embarrassing failure before you allow yourself to admit, hey, I'm overloaded. So to prevent those public slips, what do? We move into step two, the protective adaptation. You push through the day. You actively minimize the internal shift you're feeling. You might even overuse usefulness as a coping posture, like literally becoming more useful to everyone around you just to prove to yourself and others that absolutely nothing is wrong. You start rehearsing conversations, editing yourself, over-preparing for everything. And I really want you to hear this. This is not a failure. This is an incredibly intelligent, protective adaptation designed to keep you safe and functioning. But here is the realization we really need to lock in. It is a protective adaptation that has simply become too expensive. Just let that sit for a second and recalibrate your perspective. You've got to stop shaming yourself for surviving your busy life. Your response was smart. It kept the whole operation running. But the price you are paying to maintain that level of adaptation, it's just way too high now. It is simply not sustainable anymore without causing some serious collateral damage. And what exactly does that collateral damage look like? Well, let's look at step three, the hidden costs. The real danger here isn't just physical fatigue. It's a severely delayed recovery time. It's a much harsher inner narration where you were just criticizing yourself relentlessly. It's that terrifying, creeping fear that your true self is actually disappearing. And honestly, worst of all, it's needing bigger and bigger consequences to finally believe your own lived experience. The true cost here is a growing distance from your own identity and setting a dangerously high bar for trusting your own limits. Which brings us to the final step of our framework and really the way out. Step 4, mastery. Now, let's be absolutely clear about this. Mastery is not about perfection, and it is certainly not about forcing yourself to revert back to some old self from 10 years ago. No, mastery means naming the shift before the fallout happens. It means treating your private strain as totally valid data. It's about taking your endless competence and translating it into bounded, recoverable functioning. In plain English, it means recognizing the pattern much, much earlier in the cycle. The best part about this, it is highly achievable through small mastery moves. The solution here requires less friction, not more effort. You don't need a massive burn-it-all-down life overhaul. Seriously, you just need to pause before saying yes to another task. Maybe lower just one expectation for the day. Ask for a single delay on a deadline. Or, hey, simply sit down and eat a real meal before you keep going. These are highly practical, bite-sized moves that teach your nervous system you can actually reduce demands sooner. As you start making those small moves, I want you to try adopting this really simple, honest sentence. I am still functioning, but the cost is high. This is such a tremendously powerful tool. Using it allows you to finally separate your outward performance from your inward reality. It acknowledges your capability, you are definitely getting it done, while simultaneously validating the immense energy it is taking from you. It's like a status report of truth for your own brain. If mapping this out today has helped you finally put words to what you've been feeling, I've got a really gentle bridge for your next step. You can go grab the free 2-minute pattern map before deciding whether the full workbook is a good fit for you. Think of it as a super low-friction invitation. It allows you to map out your own personal triggers and your specific adaptations safely and easily without making any huge commitments right out of the gate. So, we are going to wrap up this explainer with a provocative question. I really want to leave you reflecting on your daily choices here. Will you notice the cost of your competence before it becomes fallout? Remember, the goal of your day is not just to look fine to everyone else. The real goal is to come back to yourself sooner and intensely protect your own capacity. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack all this today. I highly encourage you to claim your free pattern map, and I will see you in the next explainer.